Hello, I'd like to talk a bit about Doctor Who here for just a few minutes. I've been looking at the whole series, since it restarted in 2005 up to present, each individual series that they've done since then, and I've really been impressed. I mean, there have been some low points as well as some high, although, you know what, I'll take the low because it means we have Doctor Who back, and overall there's a lot more good than bad with that. I do think that Russel T. Davies really did start to camp out there toward the end, and it was really time for them to switch, and there couldn't have been a better person to replace him than Steven Moffat. Now, thinking about the Doctor's supposed death in the first episode of this particular series, God, I almost called it A Good Man Goes to War. Obviously, I meant The Impossible Astronaut. I don't think that it was a doppelganger. It's too obvious. And there's one thing about Steven Moffat which I've really enjoyed, and that is that he's pretty good at fooling people. I think that I may have not been fooled by him a total of one time. And to be honest, I can't even tell you when that was, so I might have been fooled by him every time, and it's just wishful thinking. The fact is, he's damn good at what he does. He's a great writer, he's an awesome producer, and he's really a godsend for the show. My theory is that the Doctor's supposed death is either some sort of aborted timeline, which of course those characters traveling with him would remember, and the Doctor has said time can be rewritten, or it could very well be that the Doctor didn't actually die, that he had an ace up his sleeve, which, we the viewers have yet to find out what it is. We have yet to discover it, as it were. So we'll find out in good time. On to the baby. Yes, this is Amy and Rory's baby. No, I don't think that this is the little girl that we saw regenerating, and considering all of the comments that I've seen all over YouTube and all of the spoiler sites that the ones that I hope are spoiler sites but never are, all of the sites that I chase in hopes of finding spoilers, I should say, I should probably explain why I don't think that this baby is the same as the girl that regenerated, because of course just about everybody assumes that it is, and I could be wrong. Let's go back to 2005 and all of the way up until Steven Moffat took over. The Time Lords are dead, gone, extinct, and it's the Doctor that destroyed them and destroyed Gallifrey. It wasn't actually the Daleks, although the war with the Daleks was certainly the catalyst that made the Doctor realize that it had to be done. Go back to the novels with the Eighth Doctor. Think about Faction Paradox and what happened there. The Eighth Doctor blew up Gallifrey, wiping out the Time Lords and taking care of Faction Paradox in one fell swoop. Now, that said, that's kind of like what happened in the TV series. Obviously, they didn't use Faction Paradox, and it is most likely the Eighth Doctor that still destroyed Gallifrey, or it could be an early regenerated Ninth. I don't think that we'll ever know that one for sure. Suffice it to say, they got their inspiration from the novels, I'm certain of it, and that's not a bad thing. That's not a criticism at all, no critique from me on that. I think that it was actually brilliant. I guess that counts as a critique, but certainly not criticism. Now, let's look at this little girl. She regenerated. I'm sorry, I don't buy that a human fetus, by virtue of being in a womb of somebody who's traveled in the TARDIS, is going to develop the ability to regenerate. It could have some other circumstantial things happen, but then again, I doubt it. I mean, think about this. Rassilon said that Time Lords had 1 billion years of history, and he was alive for all of that. That's a fun thought. But anyway, you would think that in 1 billion years, Time Lords would know whether or not there were unforeseen consequences of having a fetus traveling around in a TARDIS. I'm sure that there were plenty of pregnant time ladies that flew the things. As we've seen from the series, they have pretty well thrown out this whole thing of them growing up in looms and coming out as adults, for which I'm actually quite grateful. It gives them that slight bit more of a human quality that's good without making them too human to be Time Lords. And, that's another side rant. Okay, just because someone's from Gallifrey does not mean that they're a Time Lord. Time Lords are Gallifreyans who went through the Academy. Every Time Lord is Gallifreyan, unless you want to count certain novels in which Ace went to the... sorry, I'm not used to talking a mile a minute here. In which she went to the Academy. Now, that said, not every Gallifreyan is a Time Lord, though. I mean, let's look at the Shobogans. These people ditched their own society and decided to go live out in the red grass. Okay, great. But even then, not every single Gallifreyan living in the Citadel is a Time Lord either. There are plenty of citizens, and only those who've gone through those classes have become Time Lords. It's almost, I don't know if a caste system would be a good way to say it, but definitely there is some sort of a class difference there, and the Time Lords are the upper Elkion of Gallifreyan society. So that said, this little girl may or may not be a Time Lord, but I'm almost certain that she is from Gallifrey. I would say 98% certain. I'm not going to bother re-recording this. I'll stumble, I don't care. So, that said, let's look back to the novels one more time. The Eighth Doctor in those novels, after having destroyed Gallifrey, found a little girl who was also Gallifreyan, and he ended up raising her. So I think that they got influence once more from the Eighth Doctor novels, and that this girl will be Gallifreyan. I don't think that the Doctor's going to end up raising her. It's just... it's too long to tie down the Doctor with someone in the TARDIS. You know, raising someone, it's not like, oh gee, I'm going to have them for a year or two and then go dump them off on the nearest rock that I find because they fall in love with somebody or whatever. Then again, they might have him raise her, and then she'll get killed by like the Cybermen or the Daleks or whatever, and we'll see the Doctor get really pissed. And I don't mean pissed drunk, I mean pissed, I'm going to kill you, your whole family, and your world, and then have tea and crumpets in the TARDIS pissed. Yeah, he has his dark side. You know, the Valyard comes from somewhere. Speaking of which, wouldn't it be cool if the Dream Lord is the Valyard? But we'll find out. Depends on how they do it. If they do it Russel T. Davies style, no thanks. John Sim was a great master, but he could have been more sinister, and I'm sure that he would have been had Steven Moffat been the one behind it. So who knows, maybe we'll get John Sim back and see some classic master out of him. He's a great actor. I think that it could happen. Anyway, those are my thoughts for now. Yeah, go ahead and reply. Tell me that I'm an idiot. Tell me that I'm spot on. Anything in between. You know, no holds barred. Tell me it as you see it. And I guess we'll all have to stay tuned, because I don't think we're going to find out about the little girl until episode 12, if not 13. However, we may find out just a bit this episode. If I'm wrong, and the baby is the little girl that regenerated, hey, then we'll find out sooner. As for River, I also doubt that it's as simple as that she's Amy's child. I think that the supposed overhearing of that was really a foiler, not a spoiler. But again, I'm not Russel T. Davies. I'm not on the casting crew. Hell, I'm not even in the right part of the world for that to be possible. So we'll just have to find out. I look forward to your comments.